Hey guys, SickMotion here with patch 6.20 notes. It's actually quite a while ago this patch came out. I was super busy at the time, and I don't have access to my computer. Still having to stream from a different location since the internet at my house is still not working. Coming up on the fourth week in a row, so I haven't had much access to my computer to do this. But also, I just didn't have any time off of streaming. Yeah, I was just super busy. But I have some time now, and I was requested to do this still, even though it's so late, by quite a few people. So I figured I would take the time to do it. Just mute the sound in the background here. The spooky, darkest dungeon noises are. There we go. All right, so we'll go down here. I actually stopped streaming a little early today because our internet was cutting in and out all night, and right after I stopped streaming, the internet cut out. So I can record this offline. I already had the page open and loaded, but might even be a little bit later to get it uploaded because the internet's currently. I don't have internet at the house. Fun times. So there's updates to the patch. These weren't here when it dropped, but since it's been a while since the patch came out, some base stat upgrades on Irvin. I was looking at his win rates across most ratings in North America at least, and it's like low 30%. Very, very low win rates. Kind of reminds me of Talia's win rates or Bard's win rates when they first came out. Um, Although I think Bard in comparison with Irvin, kind of being like unique characters that do their own thing. I think Bard is a little more suited to solo queue. It feels like Irvin is going to be absolutely busted in competitive play and organized play, and it's going to be really hard to make him work in solo queue. It's going to take a long time probably for people to realize how to make him work and realize how to play with him. Playing against him, you kind of just it's not. It's more in the Irvin's like it's up to him to play really well to feel useful rather than the enemies to outplay him. I haven't really seen any Irvins in my games do anything notably well, whether they're on my team or the enemy team. This champion seems interesting, but it seems way too aimed at organized play and not really at solo queue. But we'll scroll through here. Ashe here, the base slow on Frost Shot is up earlier, but lower later. The slow on critical hit is triple the base slow though, and critical slows decay to the normal slow value over the first half of the slow duration. So you have to keep applying it for it to stick, but it'll be more powerful if you are able to keep applying it. Instead of fully resetting his Ashe basic attack, casting range's focus reduces her basic attack delay to 40% of the full value, no reduction if the delay is already below 40%. Things like this just, if you're an Ashe player, you'll feel it, but if you're not an Ashe player, or you haven't played Ashe recently, probably just sounds confusing more than anything. If Ashe delay between basic attacks is 1 second, casting range's focus brings that delay down to zero point 0.4 seconds for the next attack. So it's kind of like a pseudo auto attack reset, to put it simply. I was just reading like the depth over accessibility thing that Riot put out, that they don't want to sacrifice depth to make the game like easier to pick up for more players. I get that. I like that. As someone who plays League way too much as it is, changes like this, they honestly are just more confusing than anything to 95% of the population that actually would be paying attention to this, not even including the casual players. So, I mean, do what they will. It's just kind of, I think, adding too much confusion. And the flurry attack damage AD ratio got nerfed as well. Cho'Gath, big change here actually. The cooldown on his silence now goes down per level. Keep in mind that his Q and his W don't reduce cooldown per level. Actually, I don't think his Q does. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing. But I know his W never did. But you would still max it anyway because it would increase the silence duration. And it was just like a free nuke that was really weird where you could cast it on someone and they could flash during the cast animation and then get hit by it or die to it where they flash to or where they dash to. And the thing about this ability that completely contradicts what just happened is this ability hitting would silence the character. So if the character was silenced, they shouldn't have been able to flash away. However, they got hit by the ability and flashed. And it was just a really weird, like, this is one of the most ancient abilities in the game that was just uh, from a darker prehistoric time. They had to just put it up to date with like the current balancing. They increased the range on it, made it scale down in cooldown as you level it up, reduced the silence on it at max level, still the same early, and fixed a bug where units would be hit if they had escaped the area after the cast. Similar to what other skills? Darius's pull, how it used to, you could flash away and then get pulled back in. Skarner's ult as well would have similar things. They changed the way so the ability itself looks more usable, has cooldown reduction on it, has increased range, all of that. A little bit of nerf on the silence, but overall, it's probably gonna feel like a nerf just because it's not like the running jokes was basically Cho'Gath cast his silence facing our side of the map. It's gonna hit you. If a Cho'Gath missed the silence, it was very impressive. It was very hard to do that. Um, it'll feel better, feel more balanced. It'll feel weird for a little bit for anyone playing Cho'Gath until you get used to it. But I think it should be more consistent, but definitely a lot less powerful in the terms of just not very fun to play against for the enemy. Jinx, her traps now do less damage and they cost more mana, and enemies will now take damage from one Flame Chomper per cast, even if they're hit by multiple explosions. So, nerfs to Jinx there in general. The 70 mana is actually going to be pretty big, considering that when you're using your rockets, you're spending mana as well. So that's a pretty significant minor increase. A lot of changes to Nunu this patch. His base attack damage up, base attack damage growth stat up. His passive, he now begins the game with a stack of the passive, so it's no longer like, do you want to auto attack to get a stack of the passive, or do you just want to use it right away? Normally it wasn't even worth it. But he gains a stack of, or he starts the game with his passive up and refreshes the buff upon recalling or respawning. So that's going to be very helpful and keep his mana up in the jungle really easily. His consume has been reduced by 1 second per level. No longer receives unique buffs for casting consume on certain neutral monsters. For how much Nunu has played, I'm guessing half the league population didn't even know this existed. Every large monster that he consumes, he'll gain a stack of Well Fed, giving him 10 movement speed out of combat, 3 max health, and increasing size, stacking 5 times. Stacks refresh on cast of consume, falling off every 50 to 70 seconds, which goes up with level. Fix the bug where bonus health received from consume didn't stack with Cinderhulk. So basically, as long as you're just consistently jungling and consistently getting these stacks, you'll be running around with a free 50 bonus movement speed out of combat and 15% increased health. And it looks like stacks refresh on cast of consume falling off every 70 seconds. It's hard to tell from this, and I haven't played Nunu since they did it. Falling off, I don't know if one stack will fall off every duration there, or if all of them will. I think all of them falling off would feel kind of too punishing. But like I said, I don't actually know if it's either or there. And a really big buff to his ult. The slow now increases to 95% from 50 over the channel duration, and there's no cast time on it, so you start getting slowed instantly. I think this was originally as a quality of life buff for Nunu, giving that quarter second so that he didn't accidentally cancel it with commands and whatnot. But reducing that cast time actually makes it stronger, and with the fact that it like basically slows you permanently if you're getting stuck in it, it's pretty damn strong. Talia here, base health regen. Anyway, I'll just go back to up to Nunu here. I think this is going to make Nunu a lot stronger and a lot more annoying to deal with, and there's going to be a lot more Nunu players because of this that'll probably fall off after they get used to this here. But in the certain situations, Nunu's going to feel broken. I've been playing more Jax lately. I hate playing Jax into Nunu because of his auto attack slow on the ice ball, but I love playing Jax with Nunu because of that free movement speed attack speed buff that's like just amazing on Jax. So I've been playing a lot more Jax when I know I'm getting a Nunu on my team as well. So I don't know. I'm expecting to see more Nunus in games. Talia, base health regen is up, and the cooldown on her Q has been reduced by 1 second, and the work ground duration has been reduced by 20 seconds. You can look at that as a nerf or a buff. I think it's more of a buff because you're going to get those bigger Qs off that are firing multiple shots. However, your control of an area, having that increased movement speed everywhere you go, is going to be less, but your Q doesn't stop your movement, so you can still be using that while running away if it's in an area that you don't have it. Vlad here, looks like they're making a transition more to him being reliant on building actual damage to be doing damage and sustain rather than just tankiness. The heal ratio on his Q has gone up by 0.2 AP. The fact that it was 0.15 before, now it's 0.35, though, is pretty significant, more significant sounding than just the 0.2 on its own. And the healing bonus on minions it was already half as effective, and now it's only 35% effective versus the minions compared to if you hit a champion. So there's a big emphasis, even more so, on him hitting a champion with it to get that increased healing. The Tides of Blood maximum ratio is now 0.6 max health instead of 0.8, and 0.1 ability power instead of 0.7. So once again here, less damage from being tanky, more damage from ability power. The missile width has been increased, but the missile spawn has been decreased. So that interaction there mainly is gonna be for like farming in minion waves, I'm assuming. It's probably gonna be easier to block it in minions against Vlad, is what I'm assuming from that. I might be looking at it wrong, kind of tired. Anyway, Yorick here, let's see. Threshold for summoning graves set to 4 on Howling Abyss. York will now cast his W at max range if it's cast out of its max range. So it was kind of annoying when you're chasing people down on York and you're spamming your W, but you don't quite know the max range. You won't actually start casting it. Like, you might not know where the exact max range is, but you're holding your mouse over where you want it to cast, and you don't want to cast it any closer than the max range. So you don't want to move it into the range and maybe cast it like a little bit short and have it not work out for you. So you're spamming it out of its range and it won't cast until it's in range. So that was kind of frustrating. It's nice that they changed it there. That's a big quality of life buff. This is a huge quality of life buff for Yorick. On the outside, it might look like a nerf, but it's actually really nice. His E now only marks champions and monsters. Still can jungle if you're jungling Yorick. Still make your ghouls jump on jungle monsters and whatnot, but not marking minions. If your enemy champion's standing in a pile of minions and you hit that E on them, the ghouls will only jump to the marked target, which can only be the champion, can't hit the minions, and you can, it's a lot more reliable for the ghouls getting onto your target, because they do a ridiculous amount of damage if they're working properly, but there's a lot of control issues on how you actually make them act like you want them to, that were blocking his ability to feel rewarding to play. It's a huge buff, but it's a quality of life buff. It's kind of because the quality of life of playing him before was really low, and now it feels a lot better. This is how it should have been shipped as, I think. It also, if you're farming underneath their tower using your ranged ability, because you don't want to walk into tower range or whatnot, or you're using your E on their minions, and you don't kill them all, and one of them stays marked, your ghouls don't all just jump into tower range and die instantly, which was always frustrating as well. Only thing I can think of this being a bad thing is if you throw your E to try and get to mark a minion to be able to get the movement speed to run towards that minion quicker, but that's going to be a very isolated situation. I think it's going to feel a lot stronger in more situations. I was really excited to play Yorick when I saw those changes, and I played him a few times. He feels a lot better than he did. I just kind of wasn't feeling it lately to play Yorick, though. Bioarcane Barrage made Bioarcane Barrage's attack animation cool again. Awesome, that's awesome. Updated Lion Dance Kog'Maw's hit particles, updated Bioarcane's visual effect across skins to match the new duration. So just kind of visual updates there, nothing really balancing wise. Twin Bite's animation has been visibly sped up, so more visual changes to Shyvana there. All right, dash collision knockback is now a third of a second rather than 1 second. We took a look at Baron's mechanics and felt that a full second's a bit overkill for what the knockback is trying to do. Um, I didn't read through this. I'm just reading it really quick here. I'm pretty sure this is the knockback because he has a couple knockbacks. I'm pretty sure this is the knockback where if you get on top of the Baron exactly, it pushes you away. You would get CC'd for a full second. Now it's going to be 1/3 of a second, which will feel a lot better for characters that jump onto Baron when they're doing it. Like if you Q onto it as Lee and you kind of get stuck in it, you bounce off. Anyone that dashes over it, if you dash through it as Renekton, for example, if you Q to it as Aurelia, jump on it as Jax, then you get stunned or knocked up for a second. Very frustrating. So I like that change. Still does what it needs to do, but not as obnoxious as it was before. So threes changes here. Outer vision range on turrets reduced. I feel like they were giving too much map control early. Having them up and then losing them was devastating. So I think that'll be a lot better. So that's nice. I mean, threes doesn't get focused on enough. I enjoy playing threes, but it's not as popular as it needs to be to really put time into it. I'm expecting it to kind of get taken out of the game probably for the next season, if not 100% for the season afterwards, which is unfortunate. And then there's some basic attack canceling is more consistent. Movement orders issued 0.03 seconds before basic attack fires will no longer cancel it. The movement will now occur after the attack fires. So, bit of a change there. Just something you're going to have to get used to. Currently playing around basic attack animations is a bit too suspect to situational variations like a slight spike in lag or the outer edge of frozen heart aura. We want to make this behavior around animation canceling to be a smidgen more consistent so that players can learn to master this mechanic. So it's going to add more consistency, assumingly, if what they're going for is achieved, but it's going to feel weird for people that are really used to the exact timings for the first little bit. Bug fixes here. Normally I don't go over bug fixes, but there's a couple in here that are cool. The basic attack component of Hecarim's E can now critically strike in line with like Nasus's Q. That does not mean the ramped up damage is going to crit. It's just the basic attack portion of it. They relate it to Nasus's Q, which is what it's exactly like. Let's see here. They fixed a few spots where Vayne could tumble over edges. I've definitely seen Vayne Q over the edge on the top side spawns blue buff, right by the tri-bush and the river bush. I've seen the Vayne Q over that wall before. And Kled can now issue pings during his charge, which is very nice. It was very annoying to not be able to do that in the couple games I played of Kled, because you couldn't kind of ping if you needed to ping more. So there's that. And upcoming skins, all the Star Guardian skins, right? Printing more money. Anyway, guys, sorry that this patch note video was so late. Normally I like to do it the day after the patch comes out, if not within like the next day or two. This is just the first opportunity I had. So hopefully once the internet gets back online here, I will get this uploaded. And for anyone that was interested in watching it, I do apologize once again that it was so late. I'm actually not expecting very many people to watch this one compared to the other ones, because I mean this far and they've probably read the patch notes and they don't want to get them reread to them. But anyway, guys, take it easy. Social media links and stream link in the description as always. Thank you for watching. Hope it did help anyone who procrastinated long enough to not read the patch notes till now, or who wanted more clarification on certain things. And we'll see you next time. Take it easy till then.